New mass protests against a luxury resort tied to Ivanka Trump and her husband, Jared Kushner. I mean, look at that. Those are protests against one of the Trump family's big projects. It marks the 6th straight day that people in Albania have taken to the streets. Protests that are growing and have seen heated clashes with police. All because Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner have plans to turn a wildlife reserve area on a lagoon, and it was a former communist-era military base that is now a wildlife reserve. And the plans are to turn it into a massive resort. Ivanka Trump just days ago talked about it. She brought it up, talking on a podcast about how she says she discovered the area.
We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to the islands. We went on a hike, barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated. And it stayed with us ever since. For me, it feels more like a challenge than anything else. The culmination of all of my experience in real estate.
So protesters also want more transparency about the involvement of the investment firm linked to Kushner. A firm that the Washington Post, citing an SEC filing, says obtained $2 billion in funding from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. Albania's government is defending the project, saying that, well, it's going to help Albania get a high-end tourist destination. And the prime minister, there was an incredible interview. I hope you'll watch the whole thing, but he was extremely defiant in a really great interview with our Isa Soares. It sounded a lot like Donald Trump himself. He tried to insist that everything that's been reported about this, including the protests themselves, don't exist.
So, Ivanka claims they were just walking barefoot, fell in love with the place, and decided to build a resort. But on the ground, regular citizens are so angry they are clashing with the police because this undiscovered paradise is actually a highly protected wildlife sanctuary.
This is fake pictures. It's fake news, sensational fake news. There is not such a thing like a Trump family Ireland.
Well, a spokesperson for the project says to Outfront that we're excited about the opportunity to create a world-class destination and make it one of the largest private investments in the region's history. And of course, this is far from the first controversial business deal involving a member of the Trump family while Trump is president. In fact, it's just the tip of a very giant iceberg. And it all comes as Donald Trump's net worth on the 2026 Forbes billionaires list hit its highest point ever, $6.5 billion. Being president is paying big time, and Forbes senior editor Dan Alexander is out front. And Dan, so it's just amazing. We live in a world where you're looking at something with your own eyes and someone's telling you it's fake and not happening. But based on your reporting at Forbes, how much could Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner stand to gain from this project?
It's very difficult to know. And largely that's because although Jared is doing high-level diplomacy all over the world, he still hasn't filed a financial disclosure report, which would tell us about the structure of his underlying investments. But if you just do some rough math, I mean, this is reportedly a $1.4 billion project. Let's say that it doubles its money. In a typical structure, a private equity firm would get about 20% of the profits. That gets you to maybe $280 million. Now, I want to emphasize that that's all super theoretical, not just because we don't know how well this project's going to do, but also because the structure of Jared Kushner's holdings is extremely murky.
Right, which in and of itself, right, is just to point out is a major issue, given the role that he has in national security and other things that is unprecedented. You've covered the Trump family, obviously, for years, Dan. You and I have talked back in the first administration, and I know even before that you were talking about Donald Trump. And I know that you think Ivanka and Jared could actually lean into the opposition to this project. Explain what you mean.
Well, look, controversy it affects every project that the Trumps are involved with. And what you've seen over the years is that there are some places where that's a negative, like in the United States.
I want to take you for a minute to a truly beautiful place I just learned about, in fact. It's called Sazan. It's a small island off the coast of Albania, covering about 2 square miles. On a nice day, you can even see it from the heel in Italy's boot. And it is a sight. Clear blue water, sandy beaches, rocky cliffs, rainforests, even a few majestic peaks. and 40 miles of hiking trails. The island's location and climate make it quite unique. It explodes with a diversity of animal and plant life that you simply cannot find anywhere else. It's almost untouched by people, and to keep it that way, Albania designated the beaches and the waters around Sazan as a maritime national park in 2010. The mainland coast across from the island is one of the last wild river deltas in all of Europe. It's also protected under law. Now, a small number of mostly local tourists travel out to see the flamingos and the pelicans, their loggerhead turtles and monk seals, and dozens more endangered species, according to local naturalists. Back in 2021, Sazan Island was discovered by a pair of seafaring explorers who would ultimately claim it as their own.
I'm working on an incredible project with my husband in the Mediterranean. It's massive in scale.
I think that's an understatement. Can you explain?
Yes, it is.
There's no power on this island. You're building everything from scratch. Correct.
Well, it's an unbelievable, beautiful 1,400 hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to the islands. We went on a hike barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated. And it stayed with us ever since. And over the course of many years, we developed the opportunity to help realize its potential and transform it, but with a lot of restraint and care, because the land is so beautiful that really the architecture has to be fully integrated into it, almost rise from it. You know, it's not even a business for me, despite the scale of it. We not only the island, but we have 5 miles of beachfront directly across from the island, this beautiful peninsula with a lagoon on one side, the ocean on the other, beautiful white sand beaches. For me, it feels more like a challenge than anything else. The culmination of all of my experience in real estate, all of my travel.
It's so beautiful, isn't it? Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, discovered that island. She fell in love with it. She's not the only one. Her husband, Jared Kushner, told The Guardian last year that he, too, was left speechless when he first saw Sazan. Quote, "I was just very surprised that something like that existed in the middle of the Mediterranean and hadn't been developed." So the billionaire members of Donald Trump's family thought, why shouldn't we develop it? Tastefully, of course.
So these are actually just internal early renderings. So we're in the process of doing the master planning now, but
this is beautiful. I mean, it's
this is an early vision. Yeah, it's going to be extraordinary.
Here is that extraordinary vision in action, according to videos posted by local activists. Bulldozers, dump trucks, and razor wire are already ripping up the mainland coastline. And it is government-protected land. Again, it is against the law to develop there, unless the Albanian government changed its mind for some reason. Well, just a few weeks after Donald Trump won the 2024 election, the government of Albania overrode its own environmental laws and greenlit the Kușhners to develop the coastline and a chunk of Sazan Island with hotels, apartments, villas, and a marina. Kușhner's firm has said the plan is to build a 5-star eco-resort community on the island and to be, quote, and I quote here, faithful and considerate of the environment. The whole project is through Kushner's private equity company, which is, of course, flush with billions of dollars from Saudi Arabia and other Middle East sovereign wealth funds, money that was invested with him after he left the White House the first time. Do you remember those were the ones he was soliciting while also advising the president on Middle East diplomacy? On Thursday, Albania's prime minister defended the deal in Trump-like terms.
There is not such a thing like a Trump family Ireland. There is not such a thing like the family of the American president taking over protected areas where flamingos will be killed by them. The project is not yet there. The environmental impact is being worked.
People in Albania appear to be pretty angry with Ivanka Trump, along with the Albanian prime minister, who they believe is in cahoots with her and Jared Kushner and maybe even President Trump. Between 8,000 and 10,000 people are protesting right as we speak in the capital of Tirana. They have been protesting for days out there, sometimes getting into violent clashes with police. And here is why. Ivana and Jarෙd Kuўhnеr, Ivanka and Jarෙd Kuўhnеr, are trying to develop a stretch of seafront on the country's southern coast, along with a nearby island, one Ivanka Trump talked about recently on a podcast as if she herself discovered it.
An unbelievable, beautiful 1,400-hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. We were on a friend's boat, and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to the islands. We went on a hike, barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated. And it stayed with us ever since. And over the course of many years, we developed the opportunity to help realize its potential and transform it.
The island is called Sazan. It's uninhabited and as you can see, beautiful, save for a former communist-era military base. The project linked to the Trumps would put a resort on that island right there and then also develop a massive stretch of the mainland's coastline with hotels, apartments, villas, and a marina. The problem is that the area is a wildlife reserve, home to flocks of pink flamingos. Look it up online. It is gorgeous. Folks down there are none too happy about the prime minister who amended the country's laws to approve the plans for five-star resorts.
Ivanka calls it an extraordinary vision. But let's be real. It's an exclusive playground being built for the ultra-wealthy. Under the guise of an eco-resort, a pristine natural habitat is being paved over for luxury villas and private yacht marinas.